Hi guys, this is the advisor and welcome back to the channel of upright men and women. Since yesterday, we have all been hearing about this $1.3 million award that the court has given to Lawrence Rowe, the former MP caretaker for Central Kingston. Now, for most of you who have been hearing about this case for the first time, it's like, yay, one more up for defenseless citizens. Wow, once more, and this is one of those few occasions where an ordinary citizen of the country has actually won against the system after being maliciously prosecuted. And like myself, and most people listening to this channel know, had never heard of this case until yesterday. But I have managed to do some digging because I am somewhat connected to Almontown in the sense that I know a lot of people living in that vicinity. I used to live there as a child, as a matter of fact. And I think I've gotten as close to the full story as possible. Well, let me tell you no plain. I'm not going to give you the conclusion before me tell all of you how I arrived at the conclusion. I'm going to take it to show you step by step as to what had taken place on the day of the incident and right through till the day when he was awarded. And it is this. What happened to Lawrence Rowe and him that caused it by himself. But having said that, him getting this award is caused by the policeman himself, backed up by the entire administrative section of the Central Police Divisional Headquarters in downtown Kingston. They are all to be blamed why this miscreant named Lawrence Rowe managed to win in a situation where he was the one who initially was at fault, but where the police faltered and had a lot of misapplication of the law from the constable way up to the superintendent, which all led to the culmination of how it all ended on the 24th of March this year. Now guys, stay with me because uno I gonna know how to prevent this. I'm one policeman and the whole come at school because a class me a carry now. Because uno cause Lawrence Rowe to get away with this. Uno same one because uno don't understand the law and know how the law should have applied in a situation where this encounter had begun with Lawrence Rowe. So, come at school. And when I say come at school, more all policemen come at school. Even no gazetted rank. Come at school right now. And all you civilians, you need to hear this. Because they say knowledge is power. And this channel is where you come to gain knowledge. You TikTokers, no brainers, who have left already most of you are soon gone. So this is a channel for where we come for intellectual discourse. So for you who have the capacity for that, stay with me. The incident took place on March 27th, 2014. There was a big ruckus going on Stephen Street. It was so loud that according to what I hear, it could even be heard from the police station, which is at the corner of Stephen Street and Great George's Street. So whether it was somebody come and tell the police what was happening, or the police actually hear it and decide to go around there themselves, but the police ended up in the ruckus. It is claimed that there were some women who were fighting. Well, it isn't stated as to exactly what they were fighting over, but Lawrence Rowe had taken sides with one group of women, which some is said to come from down Water Street, Sarah Street, and Hannah Street. But he seemed to be the most vocal male in the whole incident, and he had a piece of stick. So it appears that he was instigating or trying to further aggravate the situation. Because of that, the police felt that he is the one who should actually. The police felt that in order to diffuse the situation, they wanted to get Lawrence Rowe away from the vicinity of the incident. Point to note, important point to note. At that time, Lawrence Rowe was the constituency secretary to Ronald Thwaites, who was at the time the MP for Central Kingston. So he had a lot of influence there because in the constituency he was like second to the MP and yielded more influence over the community than even the PNP councillor for the Almontown division, Charmaine Daniels. So, because of who he was, Lawrence Rowe decided say him now move when the police tell him say no, it's the spot. We don't want you here, so you seem to be the instigator and stir up the trouble. Move along. He went and stand up at a gate and say, yes, I live, I'm not going away. And him send up the police them under them mama. Him say, boy, police can't tell him to move because him there in yard gate. Well, I'm not quite sure if he lived there or not, but that was what he said to the police at the time. So, in order to defuse the situation, the police had no other recourse than to arrest him. Oh, stay with me, guys, because I'm going to tell you where the police went wrong. The police had them right in them hand and them gateway. The police grab him up, grab where this piece of stick where him have, carry him around the Almontown station, charge him for disobeying a police command. But what I said, disobeying a police command. In the use of indecent and calumnious language and resisting arrest. People, let me tell you now, police can't just command you so. Not just so. There are ways, but the way this policeman, Constable Clayton Bramfield, had done it was wrong. As I'm saying, it's not how you do things, it's not why you do it, it's how you do it. And these are the fur cups that got the government have to be paying all these monies to Lawrence Rowe. The charges that they put on him was wrong because procedures were not followed. You can't charge somebody with disobeying a police command because not go so in a law book. As far to the little law we mean, no. Now, let me take you guys through what should have happened. The police should have told Lawrence Rowe to move and keep on moving. Those exact words carries heavy weight in the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Move and keep on moving. And when a police give you that command, it doesn't matter where if you just stand up at your yard gate and him tell you say turn so and go so, me no care where they there at your yard gate. You have to move and keep on moving, or the police have a genuine right to arrest you, and his ass would be totally covered. Now, before some of you go and say that is some draconian law and should not have been here, it is operative. No, it's not. If you're a police officer and you see two men about to fight and you realize that one of these two men, or any amount of men for that matter, but you see one or a group who is or are the aggressors, in order to keep the peace, in order to preserve life, in order to prevent injuries, in order to defuse a situation, a policeman had the authority to tell anybody or any group of persons to move and keep on moving. And it is an extremely important and valuable and essential law to have on the books. If Constable Clayton Bramfield had used those words to Lawrence Rowe, his ass would have been covered. Because if him never move, the policeman never even have to arrest him. Him could have broke up him RASS with a button and nothing couldn't come out of it. As long as he covered his ass again by writing a proper statement. Which leads me to the next fuck up by the police. Back at the station, of course, the police had to write an official report on the incident. Nowhere in that document did he say that he had told the police to move and keep on moving. Now, I don't know how young this constable was or his experience in the force, but even if he was young, there should have been other corporals or sergeants there to have guided him on how to do up his report. So, again, Constable Clayton Bramfield failed to cover his own ASS, and his supervisors failed to assist him in doing the same. But the fuck-ups didn't stop there. Here is where it got worse. Now, remember, the incident took place on the 27th of March 2014. His first appearance at the Halfway Tree Courthouse was on the 10th of April 2014. Call it just over a week later. When the case called up for trial, Rowe was there. Constable Clayton Bramfield wasn't. The case called up about 5 or 6 more times right up until September 14th. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September. And the arresting constable did not turn up one single time. Now, the question is, what sort of supervisory probity does the leadership of the JCF commands over rank and file officers? That you didn't have a supervisory onus to see that this man turned up for court on any of those occasions? Oh, that's where the fuck up for the third time. Fuck up 1. Failure to arrest the man under the right laws. Then charging him under the wrong laws which don't exist in the book. Then failure to write a proper statement. Then failure to turn up in court. Failure of the system, of the administrative system, to guide this constable through proper procedures throughout the entire process. So that was what culminated in Lawrence Rowe being freed of all charges in the Halfway Tree Lay Magistrate Court on the 17th of September, right there in 2014. And at this time now, Lawrence Rowe had every reason to sue. And him never had to lose. Him can't lose. Now, this is what Justice Dale Staple had said, and rightly so. There was no lawful basis for his arrest, his detention, his charge, and his prosecution. I am satisfied that he was assaulted in the process of his unlawful arrest. And this was all put in a 17-page written judgment that was published on the court's website last week. Now, here is what Lawrence Rowe had said in his testimony, which was taken before the court for his appeal. He said that he was just walking on Stephen Street near the Alman Town Police Station when Constable Clayton Bramfield just accosted him out of the clear blue sky and ordered him to go into his yard using foul language. Now, people, tell me, a policeman just a walk just on street and just see a man and out of the clear blue sky, just look on him and tell him, say, go in your yard, yo, what's blue light, this, that fabric, and this, that textile, all kind of colors, just like that? That don't make no sense. Come on, people, come on. Let's be fair. But there was no counter argument or counter claim to that. The judge went on to call Rowe a credible and reliable witness whose testimony was not at all shaken by cross-examination. So, when the court call you a credible and reliable witness, it doesn't mean say I tell the truth at all. All it means is that there is no counter argument to your own. So whether you're right or you tell lie, your argument under the law is going to be considered credible and reliable. Within reasons, of course. Because, of course, you couldn't look upon them and tell them, say, little green men come down in a flying saucer, put the gun in your waist, and then jump back and then flying saucer and gone back up to Galaxy X96. You understand me? And another thing which was very important to this case, one of the charges against Lawrence Rowe was resisting arrest. The resisting arrest charge becomes null and void if you cannot give good reason why you arrest the man in the first place. And he was not arresting the man for a good reason. And when I say good, not a good reason under the law. Because he failed to follow procedure. And there's a precedence for this. I mean, because the judge cited Shaquille Ashley versus Regina, which was a case where a man had also resisted arrest. All charges were dropped and he could sue the police. And it was all of those entire piles of fur cups which made what could have been a perfect arrest and prosecution ended up going down the drain, humiliating the Jamaica Constabulary Force on the one hand, and also causing the government to have to now pay out over $2 million. And you're going to say, hold on, for you who have been listening attentively, you're going to say, how you mean 2 million? Oh, me say 1.3 million. And didn't you say 1.3 million? Oh, it reach over 2 million. Here is why. All lawyer fees are to be paid by the government. Both Lawrence Rowe lawyer fees and the lawyer fees for the defense from the prosecution. And we're looking at least maybe a 600,000 each. Right? I don't know what lawyer fees is, but me say I can them region there. It might be more, might be a double that, but let's put it at each 600,000 minimum. So that $1.2 million combined with the 1.3 would give us around 2.5 minimum. Now, I hope this becomes a wake-up call for the government. A wake-up call for all them sweet boy, them pink jaws boy there, who sit by and not paying attention and cause things like this to happen to the government. It is clearly lack of supervision by the senior officers, lack of due care and attention to procedural breaches, and clear unprofessionalism, which has set back the government at least $2.5 million. And I hope that you policemen now hang your head in shame for allowing something like this, a simple case like this, cause the government to be forking out so much money to an indisciplined little rogue like Lawrence Rowe. Thanks for watching. Like, share, leave a comment below, and I look forward to see you in my next video.